Today we're checking out a special Christmas menu at La Sosenga, one of the best rated restaurants in Barcelona. So we're inside La Sosenga, and there's not a whole lot of space. There is an upper floor. This was an old bodega, so it's kind of passed on over. They've only been open for just over a year. Really nice interior. You can see kind of some of the older walls and things all around. Got me sitting up over here at the bar, dining alone today. There's a couple other tables down here on the first floor of some couples and people around, but it's one place that you definitely need to make a reservation for. The menu has been set for us. Again, it's that tasting menu for Christmas. The only thing that we did have to pick is if we wanted an extra drink outside of the menu and the dessert. They gave us some different options, but I'll be honest, I stopped listening after they mentioned cheesecake with a turron kind of finish to it. So I'm definitely looking forward to what's coming at the end. We're starting off with their homemade bread and some butter. Got the bread right here. Nice little dollop of butter we're gonna throw on there. Very creamy. A little different to have the butter on here. Usually it's some bread with tomato rubbed on it. You're familiar with it. It's a very typical dish, kind of starting with everything. Always get some bread. Sometimes they let you rub the tomato straight on. Today we're just going with the butter. And it is really nice. Next up we've got a croqueta, which is another one of those dishes usually you want to try out at each of the restaurants and see if it's any good, basically by trying out the croquetas. This one is chicken a la catalana. It's Catalan style. It's got a nice outer. See with the kind of bechamel, the cheese on the inside, the mix, how it is. That is really nice. You see the inside. If you've seen some of my other videos, especially in Zaragoza, tried out a bunch of different croquettes, croquetas. This one is really, really good. It's a shame there's only one of them. All right, so this next one is the Coka, which is this bread. This one's a little bit harder. I'm gonna have to read the menu over here, but it's herring, pork, mushroom, the toast, and then they've got it topped off with, this is always one I gotta remember in English, but quince chutney, which is this sauce that you can see on the top. We call membrillo. See that sauce that's left? It's that crispiness of the pork. That's a nice little sauce to add on there as well. We're starting off well. Next we've got a new one for me. Gotta take out the spoon for this. We've got a mushroom broth, but it's with a Jerusalem artichoke. I just tried to look what that was up, and don't have internet going with me right now, so I'll try to give you an idea of what that looks like, but it's in kind of 3 different creations. From what I understood, it's very similar to that artichoke. It looks really good, but it's kind of weird when you don't know what you're eating. Definitely get that artichoke taste. See a little bit what I think is that Jerusalem artichoke, and you've got the broth and a little bit of almost like a puree, and that puree, what they called cremos, it's really nice. It's got a Wi-Fi working now, a little picture of that Jerusalem artichoke. About 4 dishes in already, and still got quite a few to go. Really looking forward to 2 specifically. It's from this Christmas menu. We've got the escudella, which is Canalon, kind of like broth, different meats and vegetables and things. And then we've also got the canalones, which are those, well, canalones, right? Kind of little lasagna with meat on the inside, usually a nice sauce on the top. So we'll see what's coming out next.
Continuamos por aquí con nuestra escudella, ¿vale?
Perfecto.
Tenemos un rollito de carne y de verdura, de la propia que hace el caldo, y el galet, que es la pasta típica de... Este es el plato que se toma en Navidad. Y el galet lo rellenamos con la pilota, ¿vale? Buen provecho.
Gracias. The escudella came out. And what you've got is the galets. We were just explaining, those are those big kind of like shells. And then we've got the ball of meat basically on the inside. This is the typical Catalan dish, especially at Christmas time. An idea for that galette. You can see on the inside that meat. So it looks like we went a little bit out of order with the menu at the beginning, but now it looks like we're back on track. That escudella just came out. So now we've got the calamari coming, and it looks like it has the own squid ink inside of it. One of the things that you need to try if you come over here is some black rice. So you have, a lot of people always know about that paella, but one thing you can get is black rice, and you'll have that calamari inside, and it'll be baked and made with the squid ink, and it gives it such a good flavor. So I'm really excited for this one to come out, and we'll see just how much ink is involved.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien.
Bien. Vale, te traigo aquí el calamar, lo hemos cocido a la plancha, ¿vale? Es un plato de pescado de este menú. Lo acompañamos con un cremoso de alubias del ganchet, ¿de acuerdo? Y un pilpil de su propia tierra. Los brotes verdes son salicornios, son hierbas que nacen en tierra, pero en tierras de marisma, donde sube y baja la marea. Verás que tienen un sabor a mar intenso.
You can see all of that squid ink in there. It just gives it such a nice flavor. Pretty strong, but it's really strong, but it's really good when you mix it with that calamari. Like I said, one of the things you're gonna wanna do is definitely try out the black rice. Get a lot of calamari dishes, just in general. If you can get that squid ink added with it, always really good. Really one of my favorites. Try and mix this in. A little messy as well. Look at that. Oh. Have to clean up a little bit. One mistake I made is I ate all the bread at the beginning. Definitely should leave it so you can just kind of suck any of that stuff, that extra up. This ink, it would have been really nice. It's also one of the things I love about Spain, and just eating. Bread almost becomes another utensil, so not just a spoon, a fork, a knife. I've also got the bread to just kind of soak everything up at the end. And so now we've got our canalon with some pine nuts, and they've also topped it off with some raisins and moscatel. Moscatel is like a sweet wine. It's popular around the holiday season and things. Nice kind of like dessert wine almost. These canalones are usually pretty popular on the 26th, the day after Christmas. So you see them all around at this time, and they are usually really, really good. Very creamy sauce. Those raisins are actually really nice, and that moscatel, which I don't usually love, actually adds a really nice flavor to it, and it almost does feel very like a Christmassy thing. It's almost done. And that might have just topped it off. If you remember, I got the cheesecake. Got everything set up on the bar right now, and it looks like pretty much everybody else made the same decision, so probably a good one.
Y acabamos con el pastel de queso de turrón. Buen provecho.
Gracias. We've got the cheesecake with turrón. Realistically, if that's ever on the menu, that's what I'm going with, so I don't even need to hear other options. Like I said, pretty much everybody else looks like they got the same thing, and see just how kind of creamy that looks, especially right here down at the bottom. Turrón, if you don't know, is a nougaty candy that they also have around Christmas time. You find it throughout the city in all sorts of shops. Vicens is the most famous, but you can always try it out. We've got all sorts of different flavors, and it's something that during the holiday season is a stocking stuffer and just given out to everybody. Let's see how this comes out. That is really rich, really creamy. Getting the turrón kick a little bit later. Most common is usually made with kind of like almonds and things. I'm getting the hint of it a lot later. At the beginning, it's just very much just kind of like a normal cheesecake. But that turrón flavor kind of rises on you at the end, no matter what time of year you come. If this is here, get it. Cheesecake has become incredibly popular all around, but it does have a little bit of a difference from that kind of New York cheesecake or maybe things that you're more familiar with in the States. But you'll find it basically on every menu. That was incredible. Really, really good menu. A little bit of a taste of everything. Not too full. That dessert definitely topped it off. Incredible cheesecake. Now, es la hora de café. Gotta get coffee. One thing I've definitely bought into is the coffee culture, especially after a meal. It's always nice to digest a little bit. So there you have it, La Sosenga. Definitely check it out right here in the heart of the Gothic Quarter.